Maybe you're ready.
I have very distinct memories of my parents' payday. I was my father's sidekick, and I would accompany him to the drive-through window of the local bank. He would put in his check, my mother's check, through that little tube, and after a few exchanges with the teller, he would have a little white envelope with crisp bills, and I got to hold it on the way back. When I was about 8 or 9, my father announced this new plan that whenever he got paid, we would get paid. And he aligned all my sisters and I in age order. Celia got $20, Alda got $20, Sonia got $20, and I got 10. It wasn't fair. I asked him about this. What was up? And he explained to me that I wasn't responsible enough. Oh, responsible? Yeah, sure. Every once in a while he had to remind me not to walk around with my wallet hanging out of in my hand. He had to remind me not to take my wallet out 5 blocks before getting to the store. He had to remind me not to just leave loose change about. But those were just details. Of course I was responsible. I was at least as responsible as my sisters. So every payday, every allowance doling out, I was resentful. After what seemed like 1,000,000 years, before giving me my allowance, my father pulled me aside and he said, "You know what? I think now's the time. I think now you can prove to me how responsible you can be." And he handed me a $20 bill. I was ecstatic. I took that bill and I ran around. I rode my bike with that $20 bill in my hand. I walked my dog with that $20 bill in my hand. I played tackle football with that $20 bill in my hand. And when I was walking back in the house, I bent down to pet the cat with that. Oh, I had lost it. Frantically, I looked for this thing. I looked in the grass, I looked on the driveway, I looked in the bushes, I looked between the cushions, the whole time trying to escape the notice of my father. It was bad enough that I had lost $20. It was even worse to realize that my father had been right. But I could not stand the idea of my father knowing I had failed his test. It didn't matter. He seemed to know anyhow. And he pulled me aside and he explained the consequences. Since I had failed his test, it was back to $10. That next payday, when he doled out $10 to me, half of what my sisters were getting, I wasn't resentful. If anything, I was really, really embarrassed. I tried to make sure that I was as careful with my money, and I tried to make sure that he noticed. And I waited for the time that I could prove to him that I could be responsible. So when that day came that he pulled me aside, that he was going to give me another try, I realized I could not just assume my own ability. And I realized he was not obligated to trust me. And I worked like you wouldn't believe to earn his trust. So now, over 20 years later, I still have it. And I'm going to work like heck to keep it.